I'll give a little bit. I'll give a little bit of my love to you. There's so much that we need to share. Send a smile to show you care. Give a little bit. I'll give a little bit of my life for you. So give a little bit. Give a little bit of your time to me. See the man with the lonely eyes. Oh, take his hand, you'll be surprised. Give a little bit. Give a little bit of your love to me. Give a little bit. Give a little bit of my life to you. Now's the time that we need to share. So find yourself, we're on our way back home. We're going home. Don't you need to feel at home? Oh yeah, we gotta sing. Good morning. Come on up, Helen below.
I feel like that was a game show introduction.
Absolutely.
Oh, it is a game show here. Yes, good morning, everyone. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Helen Vello. I'm a soon-to-be intern minister come February 1st here at the center. Yes, and I'm stepping into some big boots over the next couple of weeks while our spiritual director, Jonathan Zenz, is in Kauai.
Poor guy.
Yes,
So
along with 5 of our practitioners as well, and they look like they're really enjoying themselves. Yeah,
A little bit.
but we're enjoying ourselves here on this beautiful rainy day. Yes, it's +7. I mean, hey, what more could we ask for? And I'd like to say good morning to all of you online, and I'm sure that Jonathan is probably watching as well, keeping an eye on what I'm doing, making sure I'm towing the line. So, welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living, and if you're here for the first time, welcome. Thank you for bringing your consciousness here on this Sunday. We are here to do what?
Nothing.
Celebrate ourselves, celebrate life, celebrate love and joy and peace and wisdom and grace and all those wonderful possibilities that are available to us in each and every moment. And so, to start off this Sunday celebration, I invite you to stand up. We're going to sing Point of Power. I got that right? Yes, I did. Yay. And sing along if you like. You have your lyrics on your song sheet. Yes, you have 2 different sheets today because, sorry, Jonathan, I did kind of mess up the printing this morning. But it's all good. It's all good. All right, let's kick it off.
2, 3, 4. In this moment I feel joy. In this moment I feel joy. In this moment I feel joy. I feel joy. I feel joy. I feel joy. And the point of power is in this moment now. And the point of power is in this moment now. In this moment I feel grace. In this moment I feel grace. In this moment I feel grace. I feel grace. I feel grace. I feel this moment I feel love. In this moment I feel love. In this moment I feel love. I feel love. I feel love. I feel love. And the point of power is in this moment now. And the point of power is in this moment now. And the point of power is in this moment now. And the point of power is in this moment
So take a moment in just to breathe in that we each have this point of power that is available to us right here, right now, in every moment. And to offer her words of wisdom to us this morning, because some of us practitioners, we had to stay behind and hold down the fort. So there are a few of us left, and I am going to invite Carmen Noseworthy up to the lectern, who is always delightful and funny and brilliant to share her words of wisdom. No pressure. Do you want the lectern?
Thank you, Helen. Hello, good morning.
Hi.
Good morning again. My dear friend, Judy Pressman gave me this book for Christmas, Trust by how do you pronounce her name? Iyanla Van Zandt?
Iyanla.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Excellent book. Excellent book it is. Partially inspired what I'm going to say here this morning. So I love synchronicity. I love serendipity, point of power. So I want to start with a little experiment here today, this morning. So I'm going to ask you to really listen openly and closely to these definitions that I'm going to read to you. And I want you to feel the difference in the vibration of the words. So we're going to start just by taking a breath. Let's touch our heart or just be present. You come to that neutral place. And here's the first definition. And really listen to it. Notice where your energy is right now. Notice this neutral energy. Suffer, to sustain, to undergo, or to endure pain, distress, disadvantage, a penalty, victimhood, resentment, hate, blame, judgment. Did you notice, I want to ask you, did you notice that your energy dropped with those low vibration words? So let's come back to center again. Let's get back to that neutral place again. Another breath. Back to neutral. Trust. Confident expectation and reliance on the integrity, strength, ability, and surety of a person or thing. So I want to ask you, did you notice that you felt a little elevated by that? Okay, thank you. Thank you for indulging me in that little experiment. So now I'm going to ask you, do you trust that your breath is there? Are you conscious that your breathing is not done by you, but by life itself? We are given life by an invisible power of creation, and we are breathed every moment by this power. We do not breathe ourselves, we are breathed by life itself. So here's my question for you today. Are you trusting that life breathes you? Or are you trusting the suffering? which is suffocating. The suffering is suffocating and strangling the life that breathes us. Suffering is the part of us that entertains the fear, the doubt, the worry, the lack, the limitation. It is the part of us that tries to distract us and convince us that we can't, or we won't, or we don't, or we're not worthy, or we're not loved, etc., etc. Suffering is the part of us that doesn't want to move forward. It likes its little box, its little safety blanket of familiarity and comfort of the current known circumstances. Trust is the innate part of us that breathes us. Trust is the inherent part of us that is seeking the greater, fuller, more expanded expression of love, of beauty, joy, abundance, grace, and life. Suffering is the absence of trust and love. We are born with trust and love. We are born out of it. Trust and love are our inherent natural state. It's a state. It is the power that breathes us. So to step out of suffering, we are asked to remember to re-believe and re-trust in that invisible power that automatically breathes us. To re-believe and re-trust in the unknown possibilities yet to emerge that are seeking expression. If someone was smothering you or strangling you, you probably wouldn't like it, right? But your body, we've all seen it in movies and pictures, right? But your body tries to breathe despite the circumstances. So when we are stuck in suffering, it's akin to our life force being smothered and strangled. We are the ones who have the pillow over our own faces, or the chloroform hanky over our mouths and nose, or the noose around our neck. And the power that breathes us is gasping for a fuller expression of life. When we live in and from suffering, we have simply forgotten how to trust ourselves and how to trust life. So, if we can be willing to learn to use that experience of suffering as a tool, then we are on the road to letting the power of life live a greater, fuller, more expanded expression through us. To use it as a tool, we have to call upon our innate trust. We have to remember that that same innate trust is the power that breathes us. It's here or we wouldn't be breathing. So we have to be willing to let go of the power we give suffering. We have to be willing to give our power back to trust, back to life. We also have to be willing to feel whatever feelings we have, let them have their say, and be kind and gentle to ourselves. We have to be willing to declare, this too shall pass, I am safe, and I am naturally loved. We have to be willing to open up to the power that breathes us and ask for guidance. And be willing to know that this power that breathes us is more grand and more powerful than anything that thinks that it can hold us back from being, doing, and having our best. Suffering is believing in the circumstances. Trust is believing in ourselves. Gandhi is quoted as having said, "Be the change we would like to see in the world." And I heard recently a story about Mary Morrissey, and she was at the United Nations, and she was with the grandchildren of Gandhi, and her grandchildren spoke in front of the United Nations and was very clear that this quote is misquoted and that Gandhi was very specific and clear about the words that he chose. And the correct quote is, "Become the change you would like to see in the world." Because you have to be it in mind first, and then take small actions that are that which you put in mind, and then those small actions become daily actions, and it is the repetition that creates the becoming. So it's a journey, and the trust is in the journey. So today I invite you to re-become trust. My affirmation for today is, I am willing to retrust myself, to retrust God, to retrust life. And I invite you to repeat that with me. I am willing to retrust myself, to retrust God, to retrust life. And one more time. I am willing to retrust myself, to retrust God, and to retrust life. Thank you.
Brilliant, Carmen. Thank you. Stay here. Breathed by life. As we move into this beautiful, beautiful chant that's in your songbook.
In this moment, in this place, I remember who I am, letting fear and worry fall away from me. I open my eyes and see there is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only love.
So I invite you in this moment to join me in affirmative prayer. I invite you to take that breath of love into your heart, into this moment, recognizing and knowing that this power, this presence, this energy of divine intelligence, of love, of trust, of faith, of joy and beauty is right here, right where we are, right in this moment, and in this moment, and in this moment. It is all around us. It is between us. It is the essence of life. It has birthed us. It gives life to us. It breathes us. This is who and what we are. This love, this energy and beauty and power of life called love. And I trust and I know that each and every one of us allows this to become who they are in the world. Becoming this greatness and grandness and goodness of God that we call love, that we call kindness and peace and abundance and beauty and grace. And as we step into this, as we allow it to flow through us, we touch other people, we touch other things. We give people and ourselves the space to become a greater, fuller, freer expression of life. And in return, we are rewarded. Well, we are rewarded from our giving by the receiving of the greatness, goodness, and grandness of God itself. In the giving is the receiving. And so, knowing that this beautiful way of life, this beautiful knowing, this beautiful consciousness is who and what we are, I am grateful. Grateful in the knowing, grateful in the allowing, grateful in the becoming, grateful in the receiving. And so these words that I speak for everybody, I know are lovingly accepted into this immutable law of mind that just knows to do, and it says yes. It is yes energy. And I know that it is done. And we simply just allow. We allow and we take beautiful action that allows this to touch. everybody in the world. And so I simply allow this to be so, and I invite you to say with me, and so it is.
I lose myself when it seems I've lost my way. When I go inside and quiet my mind, I can hear Spirit gently say, there is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only love.
Thank you so much, Carmen. Brilliant, brilliant. I'm now going to turn it over to Pierre Goutreau, who's got a new song. Well, not one that you've written, but I haven't heard you sing this.
No, we never did. No, it's new here.
It's new here.
Not
It's-
one of my originals.
And yet, so perfect for you. So, Pierre Goutreau and the Queen Street Band.
Blackbirds singing in the dead of night. Take these broken wings and learn to fly. All your life, you were only waiting for this moment to arrive. Blackbirds singing in the dead of night. Take these sunken eyes and learn to see. All your life, you were only waiting for this moment to be free. Blackbird fly, blackbird fly into the light of the dark black night. Blackbirds singing in the dead of night. Take these broken wings and learn to fly. All your life, you were only waiting for this moment to arise. Blackbird fly, blackbird fly into the light of the dark black night. Blackbirds singing in the dead of night. Take these sunken eyes and learn to see. All your life, you were only waiting for this moment to arise. You were only waiting for this moment to arise. You were only waiting for this moment to arise.
Dr. Stephen Blair.
Awesome. Thank you. We are so blessed to have the Queen Street Band as our house band. And thank you. And we are blessed also to be part of a global organization, the Centers for Spiritual Living. So even though we're the only center east of Winnipeg, we belong to a global organization. And this year, head of the organization, Dr. Ken Gordon and some other ministers, came up with this idea of one global heart, creating a world that works for everyone, which is the mission statement of the Centers for Spiritual Living, and came out with a series of talks for the entire year of 2016. So we're part of something that is happening all throughout North America, where I think over 200 centers agreed to be a part of this, and there are different topics for every week. And so this week is no more suffering. Hence, Carmen touched on that. And then we also have another brilliant practitioner. She is head of our practitioner corps this year, whom I've known since 2007. We started taking classes together way back when. And she has the honor of, we have the honor of hearing her today speak about this. And so I would like to invite up to the lectern Judy Southon.
Thank you. I need the lectern. Thank you. I'm going to move this. I'll get confused here. And yes, it is an honor. It's an honor to do the Jonathan talk this morning. And this is my first time, so I'm thrilled. I'm thrilled. And I know that Jonathan did get up early this morning. I know he's watching, so good morning. Good morning, everybody. Good morning to everyone online. Good morning to our colleagues in Aloha. We've seen your pictures. They're beautiful. It's raining. It's going to freeze later, but we're there with you in spirit. So thank you. We wish you well. And the rest of us are all here, and we're so pleased to know that you're there. And yes, it's true. The theme of today, Suffer No More. When Jonathan said to me, what do you want to call your talk? I said, Suffer No More works for me, because it's really appropriate with what I had planned to say anyway. So it's very fitting. So Ernest Holmes, in Science of Mind, said about 70 years ago, and it occurred to me that he said this before World War II about suffering, because the book was written in the late 20s, 30s. The world is beginning to realize that it has learned all it should through suffering and pain. Surely there can be no intelligence in the universe that wishes man to be sick, suffer pain, be unhappy, and end in oblivion. That sounds pretty ominous. And yet he goes on in the same chapter of the book, Science of Mind, and he says about suffering, God never intended man to suffer. Suffering is not God ordained. Suffering may be salutary in that it leads us to a place where we learn that it is unnecessary. We shall cease to suffer as we more and more comply with the law of the universe. All suffering, and this is the key, this is the catch. All suffering is the result of some infringement of these laws. And Carmen talked about the infringement of the laws. Thinking negatively. Erroneous thinking is an infringement of the laws of the universe and gets us all into trouble, and we've all done it. And we continue to do it. I don't know why we just continue to do it. It seems so simple, but it's not really easy to not infringe upon the laws. Erroneous thinking. So the way to think is right thinking. Right thinking versus erroneous thinking. And erroneous thinking is the negative thinking. So this is really appropriate for me to be here today, speaking to you, because this is my 10-year anniversary of coming to this center. On January the 15th, to be precise, in 2006, exactly 10 years ago, and that 10 years felt like suffering. I was entering the stormiest time in my life that I have ever known. Now, there were happy moments, but it was a very stormy time. I was definitely living in the world of form and the world of effects. I knew nothing about cause and effect. I knew nothing about God. I was raised a Catholic, and I left the church when I was about 22 or 23 when my first marriage broke up. So I really didn't know who or what God was for a number of years, for about 30 years actually. I had no belief system. I wasn't an atheist. I just didn't know. And so I didn't really pay attention. And I had no idea of prayer. The only prayer I knew was the prayers I learned as a Catholic. And there's nothing wrong with those prayers. I'm not casting aspersions on the Catholic Church, but it just wasn't working for me, and I wasn't learning. And I'm sure there's lots to be learned in various religions, but I just wasn't learning. So I left, and I had nothing. I had no belief system. However, my belief system was optimism. Now, in a way, that's kind of like being in alignment with the laws of the universe. I was optimistic, and I always believed that everything would work out okay somehow. I just didn't know how. And I had no tools. I had no prayer, and prayer is a great tool, but I had no tools, none whatsoever. And for the year that I was about to enter, the 2006, the year that my husband was diagnosed with dementia, I had no tools to deal with this. So I just threw up my hands, and I resigned to myself, and I just said, it's all going to be okay. And in a way, that's kind of a good thing, to throw up your hands and say it's all going to be okay. But gosh, I wish I had the better tools. Hindsight. So in my life, I have experienced great joy. I have experienced laughter and happiness. I've experienced travel. I've experienced true love. I've been loved, and I have loved, and I do love. I've experienced inconsolable sadness and grief, deep grief. I've experienced prosperity. I've experienced bankruptcy. I've experienced 2 marriages, loss, 1 divorce, friendships. I have many friends, and I'm grateful for my many friends, and I'm grateful for my friends here, the like-minded people that I have as my friends. I've experienced motherhood at a very early age. I was a teen mom. What a life, eh? It's all just effects. I've experienced career satisfaction. I've had 2 years as a teacher and as a project manager, and now I'm just kind of hanging in. I've experienced great accomplishments. I've had a whole lot of ingredients that fill up a life. So when I came to the center on January the 15th, and I remember it precisely, Dolphin sang Climb Every Mountain from The Sound of Music. There were people who were here that are not here now. Tanis and Pierre were here. I just remember it very distinctly being here. And what synchronicity brought me here? I was at a business women's networking meeting that previous Thursday. And there was a seat beside me that was empty as we sat in this circle. And the woman that came and sat beside me, she came in late and she sat beside me. She used to be a member here. And somehow in our conversation, quietly talking to each other, the word God came up. And I must have rolled my eyes. In fact, I did roll my eyes. And she gave me a card that said, it used to be called the Center for Conscious Living. So she gave me a card and she said, you might want to go to this place. So I came that Sunday very willingly. I'm not sure if I brought my husband or not. I think I did, actually. And it was it was the most synchronous thing that could have happened. I was clearly searching for something. I didn't know what I was searching for. I was clearly searching for something. When dementia comes into your life, you don't know it, you don't see it. And I didn't see it. The signs were all there. I don't seem to catch these things that quickly. The signs were all there. For 2 years, I was living with a man with dementia, with the early signs. And he had been an alcoholic, so he was the master of cover-up. So I was used to the cover-up. I mean, I loved this man dearly. He was the love of my life. So what synchronicity when later that year in November, I found out, somebody told me just by listening to me talking to him, oh, he sounds like my mother-in-law who has Alzheimer's. And of course, I was away in California. I was on the phone to him, explaining to him why I wouldn't be home for dinner. Duh. Those were some of the signs, and I just didn't get it. But anyway, I was here So synchronistically, I was here at a time when I needed to be here. Laurie, thank you for having this water here for me. That's just great. So very slowly, I became acquainted with the science of mind philosophy, and it was very slow because I had no frame of reference. It wasn't an overnight thing, so for the first 5 years, I came on Sunday, and it was okay. I came on Sunday, and then I dabbled in a couple of courses, but I was really busy with my life. I was really busy caring for my husband, and then later putting him in a home and visiting him in the home. So I was not a volunteer. I didn't have time for that. I was not a volunteer. And I remember the year in 2011 when Vic died, my husband died, and Margaret Ann came up to me as the volunteer coordinator, and she said, "Would you like to volunteer?" And I said, "No, I'm far too busy. I don't have time for volunteering. I'm way too busy. I have to do this and this and this." And then later that Sunday, the following Sunday, I said to her, "Did you hear what I said to you? I said I'm too busy. Of course I want to volunteer. Of course." So that was sort of the turning point in my life here. I was learning about science of mind and very slowly embracing it. And I was suffering. This was like 5 years of suffering. Why? I don't know. And then I got involved in courses, and the year that Vic died, I immersed myself in every single course. And the only course I didn't take was The Power of Decision. Can you believe that? I read the book, but I didn't take the course because I was loaded up with all the other courses. So that's just a little bit about my life. And as I say, they were effects. They're just effects. And I'm aware of that now. It did feel like suffering. So the last 2 or 3 weeks, as I've been contemplating what I would say today about suffer no more and how to get out of that, I've been getting messages. Everything I've read, everybody I've spoken to, everything I've seen, there's been a message. So, as you know, I work here Tuesday and Wednesdays in the bookstore for a few hours, and I got here early on, I think it was Wednesday. It was a really beautiful sunny day. So because it was early, I decided to walk to the Tango Palace, the coffee shop down the way. And we have, as a benefits program member, we get a discount there, so I thought I'm going to get my discount. They're getting to know me there now, which is great. So I got my coffee and a little, an everything cookie. And as I was walking there was a message. And it's exactly what Carmen was saying. There was an A-frame outside a restaurant, and there were some sayings, and one of the sayings was, "Words have vibrations." And I'm thinking, aha, words have vibrations. And I thought, every single thought, every single word, everything I do and that we do has a vibration to it. So that's a good thing. So choose the good thoughts, choose the good words, choose to do the good, and the vibration is high, and your life will change. Every word, every thought. And of course, I read a lot of Emmett Fox as well. And Emmett Fox has a prescription. He has a prescription for suffering no more. And he calls it his 7-day mental diet. Now, I read this book every morning. It's the 365 days around the year with Emmett Fox. And on December the 27th and the 28th, he spent 2 days talking about his prescription for the 7-day mental diet. And here's what he says on one of those pages. Thought is the real causative force in life, and there is no other. You cannot have one kind of mind and another kind of environment. So our environment is the reflection of our thinking. Words have vibrations. Thoughts have vibrations. So when we change our mind, our conditions must change. They must change. So the problem really is erroneous thinking. It's an infringement of the laws of the universe. I must be a tad nervous. A little dry. So I've been thinking about this erroneous thinking. And I'm really glad to be here, to be saying this, because preparing for this has really made me go deeper and get a deeper understanding of my own thinking and my own words and my own actions. So I'm taking Emmett Fox's prescription for his 7-day mental diet, and here's what he says about it. For 7 days, you must not allow yourself to dwell for a moment on any kind of negative thought. Watch yourself for a whole week. Do not dwell on any thought that is not positive or constructive, optimistic or kind. Words have vibrations. And it's a little hard at first to be aware of your thoughts. And I've been doing that. I've done it a few times. I've read this before. I read this book every year, the 365 days. I've been reading it for 5 years, actually. And sometimes I fall off the 7 days. But I've been doing this. And it really does change your life. It really does give you peace. It's given me peace to be aware of my thoughts. And if we could do this for a week, it could very well be the most significant week of our lives. Though it's strenuous, just try it. Make it a habit. Be aware of your tendency of habit, your tendency of thoughts. We all have habits. You'll become aligned mentally with universal law, and you won't be infringing on universal laws. In the Bible, I don't know a lot about the Bible, and Jonathan, you keep talking about you have spoken about giving a course on the Bible. I would love to take that course, and I know there's a lot of other people who might be interested in that too. I've learned more about the Bible being here at the center than I learned in my life in the religion I was in. And one of the sayings is, we are transformed by the renewal of our minds. And Emmett Fox talks about, he says, don't wreck your mind, renew your mind, don't wreck it. We wreck it when we fall out of alignment with universal laws. We're just wrecking our minds, and in fact, we're suffering. That's what brings suffering, and suffering is what Carmen was talking about, all that negative stuff that happens in our life. We've all been there. So what Emmett Fox says, break down the old mental concept and carefully build up a new one. Just as a building has to be torn down before a new one can go up on the same site. And you know, this is true of spiritual mind treatment. When I give a spiritual mind treatment to someone, when it's over, and I say, and so it is, it's really important. And when I receive a treatment too, because I've done this, I've fallen off, it's very important to keep that thought, keep that positive thought. Don't go back into the negative thinking after treatment. It just brings you back to where you were. So treatment is a changing of one's mind. Keep that change. Stay in tune and stay aligned with the universal law. I've been getting messages everywhere, whether it's an A-frame sign or one of my new heroes is Anita Moorjani. Anita Moorjani writing Dying to Be Me. That book has had such a huge impact on me. I've read the book, I've bought the CDs, I listen to them, I read her, I'm on her Facebook, I get her messages. She doesn't post too much, I get her messages once in a while, and I'm on her website, and I talk about her to people that I meet who have not heard of her. Even my son would like to read this book, because we don't read the same things, and he said, I'd read a book like that. So I think I'll send it to him, and it's in our bookstore too. This is a woman who some of you, I think most of you know, or some of you know, she had cancer. She was Indian, living in Hong Kong, going to the British school system. I think it might have been the Catholic school system, I don't know. So she had all the Indian culture, the Chinese culture, and the British culture. She had all these influences on her. So talk about being confusing. But she was from a traditional Indian family. And after her 4 years of cancer, she went into a 24-hour coma, for those of you who have read the book, and she visited the other side. She went into the other realm, and she saw clearly, not in words, but in feelings, in like telepathy. She saw the truth. She saw the truth. And she discovered why she had cancer. Now, she doesn't say this is true for everybody. She's very careful about this. But what she says is, I believe that specific cases such as mine are a disease of the mind and the soul, not the body. The physical manifestation is merely a symptom of something much deeper. That sounds a lot to me like erroneous thinking. and suffering. And man, did she suffer. We don't have to have the near-death experience that she had in this other realm. There are easier ways. And then she says, and she's careful again, I believe that my cancer was related to my self-identity. It was my body's way of telling me that my soul was grieving for the loss of my own worth. Its identity. If I had known the truth of who I am, I actually wouldn't have gotten cancer. So Anita Moorjani discovered the truth when she was in her near-death experience. She discovered the truth, and that's what it took for her to find the truth. You know, we've heard from the Bible, the truth shall make you free. But that's providing you know the truth. So knowing the truth in every situation, the spiritual truth, and that's what practitioner studies has been all about, certainly for me, because I did not know the truth. I did not know the truth before I came here. I was optimistic, I knew that everything would be okay, but I did not know the truth. I have learned a lot about the truth. Do I know everything? Absolutely not. It just continues. It's a continuing, beautiful, wonderful journey. Anita is a woman who lived in fear, and she pleased everyone but herself. But there's this one incident in her life when, and this is not to cast aspersions upon the Indian culture, but women, Indian women, they have arranged marriages, the men and the women, the parents arrange it traditionally. And she got engaged to this wonderful man. In the tradition is how they get engaged in the parties. And about 3 days before the wedding, she called it off. She just said, I have a life to live. And she cried to her mother saying, I can't do this. I have a life to live. I have dreams. I have hopes. I want to do more. I can't do this. Well, you can imagine how that affected her community. There was no man in the Indian community that was going to be marrying her. Although she did meet a man, a lovely Indian man, and when she told him the story, he'd heard of it in the community, and he said, this is the kind of woman I would like to marry. So they are married today. She did come out of her near-death experience. Her cancer was healed immediately. And Wayne Dyer wrote the foreword to the book, Dying to Be Me. It's quite an amazing, amazing story. But what courage she had to stand up for herself and decide she's not going to suffer. I'm not going to do this. I cannot be subservient. I want to be educated. I want to travel the world. So one of her sayings on her website is, I pay attention to it all the time and I see her messages, we are all one. We are all love at our core. We are magnificent. And one of her other sayings is, whatever you believe, you will find that you are correct. The universe has a way of presenting to you exactly what you believe. And isn't that Henry Ford who said, if you think you're right or you think you can or think you can't, you're right. So it's all in our thinking. Erroneous thinking has a huge negative impact on our life. It's training your mind, training our minds to right think is really an important thing to do. So as I look back to 10 years, my life today has no resemblance to my life 10 years ago. No resemblance at all. I have slowly transformed. And I've broken down the tendencies of thought that I had, the negative tendencies of thought that I had. And I've created new ones. But it has been a gradual process, a very gradual process. And I'm so grateful for where I am today. You know, we've heard I think it's Paul, St. Paul in the Bible. He says, be ye transformed by the renewal of your mind. I can say that I am transformed by the renewal of my mind. There's more. I'm not done. But I have been transformed. I am not the same person I was 10 years ago. I'm not the same person I was at the beginning of practitioner studies. And that's the thing that Jonathan said to us. You will be different. You will not be the same when this is over. And how grateful I am for that. I can say in my life today, from all the stresses I have experienced, great stress in my life, all effects, I have no stress. I can say that I am not stressed. I have tools, but I don't see it as stress. I don't see anything as stress anymore. It's gone. I'm done with it. I don't want to suffer anymore. I am done. I know the truth of the situations in my life. And I know, it's funny how there's one mind. I am breathed by a life force. I know this. I don't get to choose. We don't get to choose whether we breathe or not. We can choose to have a deep breath, but we don't get to choose if we breathe. We are breathed. We are breathed by a life force. And I believe. One of the things I said in practitioner studies, when we were asked why we were there, I just said, I want to know God, and I want to know that I know God. Because 10 years ago, I didn't even know what God was, or who God was, what this thing called God was. Not a clue, other than what I had before, and I had left that behind. And it actually meant nothing to me at the time. I am in awe today of the things that show up in my life, that are showing up in my life physically, emotionally, financially. Who knew? And also spiritually. I am in awe of all the good that's coming in my life, and it just makes me smile in knowing when the good shows up, because there's so much good that's showing up in my life right now. And I continue taking classes. I'm taking the class after service today. I've taken it before, but I'm taking it again because there's always more to know. Seeing with new eyes, hearing with new ears, and understanding with new understanding. I crave that. I crave that growth. I was without it for so long. I crave it. And I know that all is well. I know I'm on the right path. It just feels right. The stormy life that I had, particularly the last 10 years, were a gift. It's brought me to where I am today. And I'm grateful. Very grateful. I don't want to go there again. I choose not to suffer. I choose to not suffer. I choose to live in love. I choose to live in peace. I choose to live in harmony. And we can all choose that. Because today I know that there is one creative intelligence, and I call it God. And it expresses by means of me, it expresses by means of us, it expresses through us, in us, as us. I know this. I know this is the truth. All that God is, we are. And I relax in this knowledge. I relax, and I know that all is well. I know the truth. I know the truth in many situations. And when a situation comes up, I have to step back and say, I know the truth. I believe. And I act as if it's true because I know it's true. And I know that suffering is not God ordained. And I know that we can choose. Each of us can choose that 7-day mental diet. To never have, to pay attention to any negative thought or any negative word and turn it around, flip switch it. Pay attention to the 7-day mental diet. Try it. Be aware of your tendency of thought, the habits. It takes a little while. It was a gradual process for me, but now it's become second nature. So I know this is the truth for all of us. And I know that these words spoken are fact in mind. That we are magnificent. We are the love of God. We are the truth. I know this is true. And as I know this, I'm grateful, and I release these words. I release these words to the law, knowing they are so. And I ask you together to say with me, and so it is.
It is.
Namaste. Thank you. Peace. Peace. Peace.
Suffer no more. Thank you, Judy. Thank you. Beautiful, beautiful words. This is a time in our service to give back. And what I would like to say to everyone is thank you. Thank you for all that you have given over the last year. For those of you who don't know, we have expanded so much as a result of your giving. Our bookstore expanded, our book and gift store, our education system has expanded, And we're now also moving upstairs and claiming another space for ourselves. Our children's program will move upstairs, so the kids will have tons of space to run around in. Offices are moving up there. It'll be a space for people to teach yoga, to rent for workshops, and have additional classes up there. So it's because of all of you that we have this expansion. And so I say thank you. And as you take your gift out, please hold it in your hands. Hold it in your hands and honor for yourself that this infinite abundance that comes to us manifests easily and joyfully, gracefully, and richly. For as we give, we receive. And as we receive, let us be receptive to the receiving, to saturate ourselves in the receiving, so that we're so filled up that we have more to give and then even more to receive. And as the baskets go around, we're going to sing I Love. And if you'd like to stand up and sing, you're more than welcome to.
I live, I breathe, I give, I receive. I laugh, I love. I'm a part of what's here, what has been, what's still to be seen. I live, I breathe, I love, love, love. I live, I breathe, I love. I live, I breathe, I give, I receive. I laugh, I love. I'm a part of what's here, what has been, what's still to be seen. I live, I breathe, I love, love, love. I live, I breathe, I love.
So Carmen, come on up. Over here.
Please join me in blessing our offering here today, living and breathing in this glory and greatness and grandness of God, knowing that the expression of love and life, abundance and prosperity and wealth is right here in the giving of everyone here today. And knowing that this giving is the fuller expression of life, we say thank you, express gratitude, knowing that as we give, we do receive. And not only as we give, it's received it's multiplied in receiving. But that's not the point of giving. The point of giving is from our heart to say thank you in gratitude for our in recognition of our abundance and prosperity and wealth and grace right here, right now. And so from that point of reference and from that feeling, we are in gratitude. We all can say, thank you, God. Thank you, everyone. Thank you to each and every person. And so, knowing that these words are everlasting in the law right here, right now, because I claim it, I declare it, and I say it is so. Together we say, and so it is.
I live, I breathe, I give, I receive. has been, what's still to be seen. I live, I breathe, I love, love, love. I live, I breathe, I love. I live, I breathe, I love.
Thank you. So, just before we finish up, I have a few announcements. We continue with our midweek meditation with Margaret Ann on Wednesdays at 6 p.m. It's free to all, so come on out. And if you need to get a little bit centered and grounded and come back into that point of power, Wednesday's a great way to do it. We have winter classes. I'm starting a class, The Nature of Effective Prayer. It starts after service today at 1 p.m. You can still sign up in the bookstore. It is an accredited class. It's known as Science of Mind 102. So we do use the Science of Mind book. And, you know, Ernest Holmes said that if we were still referencing his book, you know, so many years afterwards, that we needed to move on. And yet, one very brilliant student said to me in the last class, we only need to move on once we've mastered the book. And I think it takes about 10,000 hours to master that book, because I've been doing it since 2007, and I still find ahas and new learnings and expansion and growth. So never, ever underestimate the power of classes. Jonathan has Self-Mastery starting, which is using the Living the Science of Mind book. And that starts Wednesdays, 7 to 9 p.m. on January 27th. You can sign up in the bookstore. Also, on January 21st from 7 to 9 p.m., it's a Thursday night, I am offering a workshop of stepping into your vision for 2016. What is your year of possibilities? Come and discover what that is. We will have a burning bowl ceremony. How many of you know about a burning bowl ceremony? Oh, isn't it awesome? It is so rich and powerful. So that'll be part of the workshop where you get to release what doesn't serve you and set a very powerful intention for yourself for 2016. So that is happening on the 21st of January. You can also sign up at the bookstore. And last announcement, we will be having our annual general meeting on Sunday, January 30th? 31st. That will be held after service. Really, really great way to know what's going on here at the center and what we're stepping into for 2016. We also elect new board members at that time. And so if you're interested in serving, because, you know, now after Judy said, you know, she couldn't use the excuse, I don't have time. All right. You don't have that excuse. So if you would like to serve us in some capacity on the board, we certainly welcome you. And come and speak to myself, come and speak to Jonathan when he is back in a couple of weeks. And we'll let you know all of what's involved for that. Okay? All right. Last thing I would like to say is thank you to all of you for coming out on a Sunday. And look forward to seeing you again next week. I'll be speaking next week as I step into even bigger boots to fill. And I appreciate that. So let us come into center. And I invite you just to place your hands over your heart. Breathe in. Breathe in to this divine, perfect aspect of yourself.
How about me? How about everybody living in peace and harmony? How about love for us all. This is my wish, most of all. We don't have time to show anything but love for our brothers and sisters, and so open up your heart and you will know it's all about love. It's all about love. It's all about love.
Together here as a community, in this precious moment, as we breathe into our heart space that is the center point of love, that is connecting us to this expanded, beautiful, brilliant, universal love that is everywhere present. It is this creative, divine, intelligent energy of life, and we are breathed by this expansive, beautiful universe. This universal presence of love, of light, of truth, beauty, grace, and infinite wisdom. This is who and what we are. And let us know it, affirm it, breathe it in, and feel it. And take the right and perfect action from this point of love. So, as I stand here in gratitude for, yes, each and every person here today, and for Sharose and Jackie and Lori, who helped with setup and the collection, and the children's program, for Lucy and Sophia helping in service to clean up afterwards, for our greeters this morning, Lynette and Sandra, for Nick in the bookstore, for Robert on sound, for Jim on the camera, and for our beautiful, beautiful practitioners this morning, Margaret Ann with her meditation, Carmen for her beautiful words of wisdom, and for our incredible lead practitioner, Judy, for her words that are inspiring, that are filled with life experience and wisdom. And thank you to Pierre Gautreau and the Queen Street Band, who are so incredible in supporting and holding this space with the music that flows out from their hearts. Thank you to our volunteer coordinator, Lori, who just puts it all together and makes Sunday flow. And thank you to our spiritual director, Jonathan Zenz, who leads us, guides us, and holds the higher vision with all of us for the continued expansion and growth of this center. And thank you, Spirit. Thank you, Spirit. This beautiful, infinite, brilliant light for all of the divine love that is just waiting for us to receive. And so let us receive it now. Breathe it in and know that the universe is our friend. It is love, it is light, it is truth and beauty, and infinite wisdom. And this is who and what we are. So let's step into it, be it, and take action from it, and claim it. And And as we do this, all we need to do is trust. Trust that everything is in divine order. Everything flows with ease and grace and joy. And so I release my word as I declare it is done and it is so. And together we say, and so it is.
Loving open arms soothes a heart plagued by harm, allowing peace and joy to once again run free. And watch the phoenix rise and the hope in their eyes, and our hearts grew more, 'cause we did not ignore when a stranger knocked on our door. It's all about love. 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 It's all about love.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Have a blessed week. We'll see you next week, and we're going to kick it off with Teach Your Children.
1, 2, 3.
Who are on the road must have a code that you can live by, and so become yourself, because the past is just a goodbye. Teach your children well, their father's hell did slowly go by, and feed them on your dreams, the one they picked, the one you'll know by. Don't you ever ask them why, if they told you you would cry, so just look at them and sigh, and know they love you. And you of the tender years can't know the fears that your elders grew by, and so please help them with your youth. They seek the truth before they can die. Teach your parents well, their children's hell will slowly go by, and feed them on your dreams, the one they picked, the one you'll know by. Don't you ever ask them why, if they told you you would cry, so just look at them and